I'm Aquarius, born February 9th. Yeah, going through changes and remaining myself is pretty much how I would describe myself. Artists do not become artists, and you have to become an artist. It's not like becoming a plumber or something. No, it's something you're bored with. I couldn't stop painting if I tried, and I have tried. It's just not possible. I've been painting since I was small, drawing since I was 2, painting oils since I was 5.
And I settled for none. I wanted and I waited, and I settled.
I overcompensate with my right brain. I'm terribly creative because I don't have much in the left brain. I'm half-brained, this is the problem. Not good at numbers, very good at remembering and creativity. I paint and I create with wood, anything creative, cooking, dentistry.
Strike me, you know I'm doing just fine. Lightning, don't you strike me, you know I'm feeling alright now. Yeah.
A lot of my paintings could be classified as dreams and sardonic humor coming through, subconsciously. There's always something like that going on in my paintings. But as far as the surrealism goes, surrealism is all about the trompe l'oeil, the hidden faces, and the images that make that dreamscape that I try to imagine, changing reality into something more interesting. Ideas, they come to me from wherever. I don't know where they come from. Ideas have to come to you, and then you're able to use your ego to push them forward, and your psyche to determine whether or not they're good or bad or how you feel about it. Creating the work has never been the hard part. It's always been, is it a good idea? Should I spend the time? Yes. My children, glad to find the prize for a moment. I won 548.
A young lady in a shoe shop. This is like me in an art store.
Brilliant hue. It's yellow. That makes excellent seawater. And we're leaving. What kind of brushes do I use? Cheap ones. I'm a starving artist. Not the plastic kind, the old white, horsehair ones. And sometimes, very rarely, do I spray anything. This one's with water and enamel to create a marble effect that, Bill Snow and I developed back in 1983 when it was raining outside and we got water on our oil paintings. We noticed that the oils and the colors would lift and mingle and swirl about. So we called it rain painting. And now I do it with water on a hose on a flat surface. You never know what you're going to get. It's like, that's the beauty of it, chaos and form, they occur together and everything happens without really knowing what's going to be the end result until you get it. It allows a little bit of God to come in and say, here, I'll do this. It's like someone else is helping you paint your painting. It's just, it's fun. It's fun stuff. The larger the painting, the bigger, the better it is. You get more detail in the marble. So I use large canvases. This is step one. I'm able to really get some good results after I paint out everything and get the shapes in, and then I paint oils on top, and it's quite cool. The part I'm painting are the lighter side of his face, while keeping some of the marble underneath. So you can see the marble, but you get just a hint of light. You see the red underneath here? Well, I have the red on my brush that matches, and I go just a little bit on top to make it look as if it's going in this direction, coming from the top to the underneath. Composition is the most important part of painting, and geometry takes a big role in that. Just the ratio of space to the ratio of action in a painting, if done correctly, can balance the painting perfectly. These practices that were first developed by Da Vinci, coming out of the Gothic age and into the Renaissance, where not only light and shadow played a more important role, but also created the depth of field using the sacred geometry. All these new sciences were coming into play, and so they have left its mark on the art world, and everyone has, of course, used it since then, and they take it for granted now. But, you know, we have all kinds of technological machines and wonders and things that do all that for you, but what fun is that? No, it's always better to figure these things out with a good old-fashioned pencil and ruler, and play around with projection and to arrange your composition to your idea of a good balance in the painting. This is an important part of my drawing experience. Trust me. Sits on the subway, singing songs that have no rhyme. She says, Jesus, can you save me? See me through my troubled time. Says, Susie, can you tell me? The Melancholia face, it's called Melancholia. It's a sad drunk being visited by a few angels, two angels, Mercy and Death, who are looking out for him, I guess. This old town is where I'm born, black and white, the heart is torn. She's a rose, she is a thorn, early in the morning. Now she come to me. It's an old drawing I did to show how three figures can comprise a human face. And I used to draw it all the time at bars when I ran out of characters in the bars to draw. Get free drinks every time you do a caricature. And of course I wanted another drink, and so I would draw the Melancholia cartoon. And always got a good reaction from the people. You know, they'd watch me draw it, and I know the drawing well. And then I'd have them stand back and they could see the face. I like to draw at bars, and it came about kind of there, really. I turned it into a little painting at first, and then I painted it on a large, really large canvas. Like pages from my book. And each time I painted, it's just a little bit different, but it's got the Pentecostal light above him, and it's an interesting, it's really a nice little piece. I like it.
What kind of t-shirt are you wearing?
It's white. I think it's a Hanes. Oh no, I don't know, someone gave it to me. Doesn't really apply with me, but right, Jackson Pollock, don't you think? I start my day with a thought of what I would be doing that day. If I'm not working, I'll be painting, which is not working to me. Morning hours are the best time to work for any kind of job. Something about where the world is asleep at that moment, the energy level of everything is quieted down, and I can think. I don't know. For me, I like the quiet evening hours and the quiet morning hours. I have to start my day painting. I was adopted in '66 to a German woman named Gärtner, and she married a man named Gardner. I found out my real father's name was Garcia. Well, I had a pretty good normal childhood, really. I spent a lot of time in museums, painting, and riding dirt bikes and going to movies and that sort of thing. But mostly spent a lot of time in libraries and painting and wanting to play music. Also very early, I asked my mother for a piano. She got me an accordion because she's German. I think it actually came with lederhosen. The accordion thing was happening for a few years, and I discovered things like the Beatles.
Do you remember life at home? Funny little blue planet in an indigo sea. I spoke to you yesterday on the phone, but you could not remember me. No, could not remember me. Rainbow ring around the moon. I know that I'll be traveling soon. Follow the rain to wash me clean. Make me whole, make my soul unseen like a restless morning air. A restless morning air.
The Gestalt House mural was made bringing books into the eyes of children. Yeah, reading is important. It was simply a tree of knowledge that was sprouting books, and that was the children of the neighborhood, picking them like apples and reading them. And that's a simple idea, it's just to get them interested in reading.
A restless morning air. A restless morning air.
The town of Fairfax is just a unique place. It's really got a lot of character, and I'm one of those characters.
I recommend Pat Bond's original wood beer.
That's gonna be fun.
Tom, which is his name, also MOT. We met in Fairfax as we were building out this Fairfax coffee roastery. He came in as we were building it, and we described what we were doing, what our vision was, and he right away knew what to do. He picked up a saw. He said, well, what if we make these arches like this? And what if we make some murals, and he right away knew our vision, and so we worked with him on this store. He did the murals and certain woodwork and all the signage, cut out a clock. We would just describe what we were interested in doing, and he wouldn't make a big deal out of it. We would discuss it, and he would do some quick sketches right then on the spot, and before you know it, we had a whole concept. And he has a lot of talent.
Taking the bikes. The rainbow. So bright, and then fuchsia. You have to have a healthy foreground for a good picture.
A couple years later, we built out another store, which he helped with. And so basically what we're looking for was an Art Nouveau theme with the soft lines, and I think we got that.
Ride, lady, ride. Ride on downtown. Ride, lady, ride on.
The opening of them is probably the most fun because you're being creative and, putting stuff together and ideas and a space and working with artists like MOT.
Painting murals is a lot of fun because it's a big, flat surface, hopefully flat. You get to project your image on a giant canvas, and you get up on scaffolds and you paint things. It's great. It's a lot of fun.
The last time I saw all the people together, well, I was 21 in some forgotten land, and everyone was dancing to the answer of wonder light and the wonder life of man. Hey, Wonderland, where the show tonight, show the way to life. Won't you make my day alright? Don't make it alright now. You know, I met a girl in San Francisco.
Wood? What fascinates me about wood? Oh, the color, the grain, the normal things. If you're, I'd be a lot more fascinated in it if I was a beaver or something, but not in the same way. It's just easy to work with, especially redwood. It's soft. It's butter. You just carve right through it. I like that. And the smell, I always liked it. I remember being in school when I was young, and the smell of the wooden blocks was always something I just loved. And wood shop in school.
I met a girl in San Francisco. She had sky-colored hair, sun-colored eyes. I listened to the songs she sang, but she never did understand. She gave me wings, but I never learned to fly.
When I first started making woodwork was wanting to inlay my guitars, and not knowing how to inlay guitars, of course. I didn't read a book or look anything up on the internet, which didn't exist at the time. And so I just started carving into one of my guitars, with an X-Acto knife and any other tool I could find. Put little abalone shell pieces I made or found in them, and glued them in, and I sort of left them there. Later I sanded them down and realized, oh, this is a process of carving and sanding and carving and resanding. So woodwork kind of had its own organic beginning with me. It makes it play better when it looks good, I think. When I moved to Marin, I already had Dremel tools and chisels, and I'd already built a few things, furniture, experimental furniture. Chairs with secret compartments.
And then pass away. But when you see the morning sun, don't look for me, 'cause I'll be gone.
And I would go up there and make these little studio sheds I would be able to work in, because usually there wasn't a suitable garage or anywhere for me to work. So I began making these little sheds, also with secret compartments and stuff like that.
Hey, Wonderland, where the show tonight, show the way to life. Won't you make my day alright? Don't make it alright now.
Me and my animatronic elves. When you're sitting around waiting for songs to come and paintings to come to you, you find yourself with time on your hands. I said to myself, I can make that. All I need is a little motor and big gears. And I was really trying to get a wall of gears. The idea was to have a wall with one motor and then lots of gear wheels from different sizes, go across the wall. But then I realized if I put cams on those gears, I could have them move puppets. So I had puppets sitting on little ledges, drinking flagons of beer, and just a little miniature MOT world of elves, and fairies, and dragons. Wood has a life of its own. There's lots of artists who look at a tree stump and say, I know, that's a rhinoceros. And I've done that. It's just, when I make a toy or if I have a purpose for wood, I have to stick to my plans.
Some people say that there's no heaven. When the bullets fly, they start to pray. Some people say they've got direction. When darkness comes, they lose their way.
They're kinetic toys. They move. They have cam shafts, little gears and wheels. And there's wood toys. You roll them along. The dinosaur heads go up and down, or the arms fly forward, or the wings go up and down. Stuff like that. And that was fun, and kids love it. Anything you can think of. All the stuff Santa would have made, if you were around. He's around, kids. He's around. And ball machines. I love making ball machines. Really impossible and ridiculous kinetic sculptures that would start with a trigger, and one ball goes down a loop, and it hits another ball and does something else. It goes into a wheel, and it turns another shaft. But it's fun. He's ready. I like doing things like that. I love watching the physics of the ball machine work, and the chaos factor, where something always goes wrong eventually, even though no matter how perfectly you set it up, there's always something that will go awry at some point. So it's interesting. If you're doing a thesis on the chaos factor, that would be a good way of writing it, making a ball machine, and, trying to get it so it would work perfectly each time. I'm sure there's other things like that, but for me, spheres rolling down little ramps into teacups is my way of looking at physics and seeing how the world is in a perfect place. Bobbleheads. As a character cartoonist, I like Mort Drucker's work, Mad Magazine. Getting a good caricature is important when you're doing a portrait of someone as a cartoon form. And bobbleheads are three-dimensional cartoons that move their heads, little springs. And I said to myself, as I normally do when I see something like that, I say, I can make that. I'd never made one before, but I know I can make that. So I started carving pieces of redwood or large dowels. And I made bobbleheads of my friends and store owners and pub owners and people's grandfathers. And the Beatles, I did the Beatles. Jerry Garcia bobblehead, of course.
That looks good. That's great. Beautiful.
Show the way to life. Won't you make my day alright? Come on, make it alright now.
Now we're going to make the body, the torso and the feet. Not bad, it's in good shape. Okay, so lots of circles. So we're going to use 2 or 3 different kinds of wood for different parts of the sculpture and glue it together. As you can tell, it's a woman. Here I've made the slope of the leg going this way, and this leg is coming down like this, so she will stand just like the picture. All right, we're going to cut it out. Girls are more difficult than guys. Their legs are thin. A leg. We'll carve the shoe out. Yeah? Pretty hot, right?
better shine, yeah. Come on, shine, shine.
Time to start the head. Yay. So we have this. So a good photograph is necessary from the profile and the full frontal. So here we have a picture, big eyes, straight nose, large smile, cheekbones. All right, so we're going to put some Bondo down there. Glue. This is construction adhesive, powerful stuff.
As I walk this western wasteland to see what's left to see, I went east to the smoggy city streets, I went west to the oily sea, I went north to the towers of Babylon, brought down to their knees. Somebody leave a light on and let your love go free. Better shine, oh yeah.
Oh, eyebrows. I forgot the eyebrows.
Shine, shine. You better shine, yeah. You better shine, shine.
What would you do as a German filmmaker?
Well, that would be easy. See, you wouldn't actually see her face because there'd be a big old camera in front of it. Just be like the profile and like this huge lens.
Just going in here.
We're at the Paper Mill Creek Saloon, which is the first place I came to when I moved here from Los Angeles. San Geronimo in the valley in Marin here is, I don't know, it's so peaceful here. It's really mellow. The people are nice. It's really great. You know, I really love it here. I came back here a lot. You know, we had a lot of good times here. Play pool, get to know the neighbors, and it's really beautiful here. You know, it's just nice. I love this place. I made a painting of it. I think one of my best paintings was the one I did of the saloon. Everyone seems to like it, and I certainly like it. The farm stand sign, I got it made, and it looks fine. It looks really nice. Jim's happy with it. I'm happy with it.
I've been gambling hereabouts. Let's say some years. All that went down in the furrow, what would it live? Goes slow, that's no never know. Watch each card playing, play it slow. Wait till that deal go down. Don't let that deal go down. Wait till that deal come around. Don't you let that deal go down, oh no. How about this?
Painting oils or painting a mural are almost the same in technique because you want to start with all the dark colors first and you add the light afterwards. You got your dark basic undercoating and you work your way back to the light. And so details would be the light on leaves, the light on people's faces, just little things like that, details.
Ones that I left behind.
adding the light in the end is always the best part of finishing a project like that.
I don't know the words, but I heard this song. Come on, baby, won't you play it for me one more time?
I had a lot of Da Vinci and Michelangelo books when I was young, and then I painted pretty much everything I could find in those books. So I began painting Da Vinci when I was young. I have a few examples through time. I've painted a lot of Mona Lisas. The Da Vinci's that I have done recently, I just felt like going back and really studying them again and studying the strokes and the chiaroscuro, the fumato, the soft light. They have a lot of depth, and I have a lot to learn from these paintings still. And when I come back to them, I have a new outlook on them, and they're beautiful to me. When I paint my own paintings, some of these influences, they come through. They really do inspire me and help me paint my original works.
Early in the morning when the sun is blind, I pick up my guitar and it starts to cry. Come on, baby, don't you be that way. Give your love, but your love's gonna fade away. Forwards and backwards now. I can see the lights in town. Buildings burning to the ground. Ideas like sparks, so dark, so few. Yeah, if only I could be with you. Just call my name, little boy blue.
Yeah, sometimes when I do these and they're unfinished, they're much better than when I finally try to finish it. I just kind of paint it to death, and it loses all that excitement of these brush strokes.
It's like I had that feeling with the painting over there. Some of the heads of the two females in the Bereuter painting are just like that. I didn't finish painting them at all because the strokes were so great the first time. I just left them and I finished the painting around it.
A painting group that I go to every Monday night, we hire models, and usually when there's a good model, I'll ask her to model for me, and then I'll do a bigger painting. This is actually from my modeling group, my painting group, this one here. It was a 3-hour painting, came out nice. And she actually makes her own bloomers. That's why I call it late bloomers. That was her name of her business.
These are all kind of the same painting, actually. They have this melancholy of face in here. This painting I did under a great mental duress, under a lot of time and pain. But the original idea comes from...
That's
I know.
An inch away from greatness.
Thank you. I've been an inch away from greatness.
All my life I've been painting from the painting, and actually operating my whole life from the outside in.
Yeah.
Like seeing the outside of everything,
Right.
form of everything. And just recently, I've been operating from the inside out. It's like my relation to people. I relate to them heart to heart rather than judging what they look like.
Right.
And I paint now from what's inside, and it seems to stream out. And it's just changed everything.
I know you're right, you're gonna miss me when I'm gone, gone, gone. Gonna miss your baby from rolling in your
We're going to that hat store which says hats. I'm getting a new hat. This is extra large. That's not gonna work.
It's all about their future, but it's only human nature, and you really can't be too sure. I'm standing in America, waiting for the morning sun. Well, by the time this night is over, another day will come.
Too floppy. I used to have more hair. Kept the hat on my head. Too black, huh?
Hey, Mr. Starman, won't you tell me where I am? 'Cause I feel like I just landed and I don't know where I'm standing. The walls around are crashing down. This town is pretty stranded. There's a woman on the corner telling fortunes for $1, and there's a banker in a trench coat. He's burning $100 notes.
Does he care instructions?
Very dirt we live in, yeah. Oh, by the time this dream is over, I start dreaming again. Again and again.
Tom and I met at Rolling Hills High School when I was, I think, in 10th grade. And Tom was, without a doubt, the most interesting person that I met at high school, in the public high school.
Back to the sea.
I had a lot of friends at high school, but I didn't really have a lot of people that I agreed with or connected with. Tom and me immediately got along very well. I'd go to Tom's house and he'd make me spaghetti.
Be happy with the rest of my life here by your side. And the music
Fungi. We like the fungi.
And pretty soon Tom and I started roaming around the neighborhoods together with our guitars, and we'd find abandoned construction sites and we'd drive the tractors around if there were the keys left in them. That's what I looked like back then. This is Ken, the bobblehead. And
are you happy to be here? Yes. You want to go home? No. Where's Tom? Over there.
our relationship, actually I'm sure, really started with us playing music together. And he was a good songwriter. He had this confidence in the way he played and wrote songs that really matched kind of what I was doing. That was the thing that, we're totally different people, different styles of living and everything, but Tom and I immediately hit it off. What was most surprising about Tom is that he was not like anyone else I knew, and not like anyone else. All these people who lived in this place, Palos Verdes, Tom was so outside their norm that when Tom came home with me to eat dinner at my parents' house, there was always this sense that, like, I'm bringing home an alien. And when you're in high school, in that young age, and beyond that, but especially in that time, your friends kind of enter your DNA, and they become part of you, and more than any other time in life, those are the people that sort of put their stamp upon you, and you carry that through to the rest of your days, I think. The treehouse, let's see, I think Tom moved to the treehouse.
Well, why did I move to the treehouse?
Because he had nowhere else to live. It was kind of a neat place, and again, living where we lived in Palos Verdes, this was not done. Young adults did not live in trees in Palos Verdes, so that was both impressive and challenging. The treehouse. There was a ladder up to it, and there was a platform at the top, and one level was strictly for the cat. Right about sunset, the solar panels would reflect the light coming off the Pacific Ocean, and it made this just amazing glow over most of the Los Angeles basin. And reporters were always coming up to talk to Tom, and Tom was always, he had painted each leaf of the eucalyptus tree a different color, so it graduated from like kind of a gray all the way up to a kind of a magenta and an orange. So the tree was a blaze of color at all times, and I'm sure that's accurate.
I lived in a tree house when I was 18 and 19. I found an old bit of a tree house, the lower part, just a little kid's tree house, really, in these 4 eucalyptus trees. And I built it up with my friends and I. We found old wood. You know, they had old chairs lying around. It was a place where people come on top of the hill and dump stuff. You know, people just dump old mattresses up there. I had like 5, 10 mattresses. We would stack on each other, swing from a rope from a tree, and land on the mattresses. So I thought, you know, it was around that time that I started doing cartoons for the paper, Easy Reader. Kevin Cody, the editor-in-chief, would gently take me aside and say, I need 30 cartoons in advance. And so my cartooning days began with MOT.
In between the dark of the moon and the sky blue sea, I saw light up the night. Heaven said to me, come and see. You got love, then turn it on all through the night. What this world needs is someone like you to hold its hand and say it's alright. World needs is a little less fight, a little more understand what I say when I say it's alright, it's alright.
We are in my studio space, so I can make my toys for all the good little children of Fairfax. You know, a place to do woodwork and paint some of my messier paintings, like the background for the cartoon I'm about to make. An old MOT cartoon that was in the papers in LA, and we're going to try to animate it, and that'll be fun. So we're working on some cartoons. I know they're going to be rudimentary because everything's kind of done quickly, but you know, I'm a low-tech kind of guy, and it's still fun to make. I'm hoping people will enjoy it.
All through the night.
gas off. Explosions are necessary in any film. This is true. I don't care if it's a romantic film or, you know, a documentary on mice. There must be explosions. So I'll animate them. Crappy as it might be. It's fun to do, though.
I think I left the gas on.
This is the doppelganger alien who shows up in a field where Mott is walking along, thinking strange thoughts to himself, and all of a sudden there he is again. And anyway, that's what we're animating today, and I thought it would be fun to show the original.
Another lonely night sits down to write a verse too dead to feel.
The cartoons have been, you know, a way of expression and a way of conveying humor. And humor is always a good thing. Laughter is a very strong medicine for everything. This is a big cure-all. Music soothes the soul, laughter heals the heart. So that is what you really need to understand, is that cartoons are meant to be enjoyed and to give amusement and laughter.
A lover's heart.
Life is where you get your ideas. Observation in life is where ideas come from, I guess. You have to be prepared ahead of time for ideas to come to you. You have to be open, and you have to have a witty sense of humor about yourself. You have to be able to be observant and quick to catch all that stuff that comes by. Sometimes it's really fun, and sometimes it's hard, but it's not all that hard. I mean, let's face it, I'm drawing cartoons.
Well, I don't believe in the wild west earthquakes.
The drawing part is easy. If you're even thinking about being a cartoonist, you are already one. It's different than being an oil painter or something like that. Being an oil painter is easy. You can smush the paint around, change it however you want. But being a cartoonist, you have to get every line and the line quality right the first time. And especially if you're doing a caricature of someone, you need to know how to capture that in just a few lines. The art of simplicity is the essence of being a cartoonist.
The broken lot. Can it be put back together? I think it can.
When the day is done and all the colors run, bleeding like a sidewalk in the rain. And now the time has come and gone when she was all that we were one, and I couldn't tell the pleasure from the pain. Silent cries of starry skies, take a breath and sigh. I love you still.
Well, I told you it was a Monday. Where my soul. Well, I've always been, a musical person. Songs are like a painting. I create them like a painting. There's a frame around them. I go ahead and I compose everything all at once.
Looks like another working day. I know I can't complain. The rain clouds have turned rain. The sun still has to shine. I know what's on his mind. Tomorrow's just another working day. Just
That would be better.
louder than that. Okay? Yeah, here we go. Next Monday, which is tomorrow, we are going to get the big stage and do an open mic. You're on camera.
No way.
Yes, you are.
What's going on?
I'm buying a piece of wood for a painting.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all right, right?
I'll be right with you, Mott, my best customer.
Right, sure. Yes.
I'd recommend our house birch today.
It's going to have to be this or nothing.
AC
Oh, that's a big painting.
32 inches. 32.
All right.
Those are all your.
I know they are. There you go. Thanks, mate.
Thank you. Hi.
Bye, Derek.
Good to see you, Mott. All right, I'll see you tonight.
See you. All right.
A bit larger for Monday night open mics. It'll be up and running next Monday, so make sure to be here.
My name is Derek Smith. Hello, hello. Welcome to 19 Broadway. I am the host of Monday night 19 Broadway open mic every Monday night, 17 years going. What they are is a chance for anybody to come up, bring their guitars, bring their electric pianos, any instrument you got. Bring it here and talk to me. We'll set you up. You play for about 20 minutes for each act. Mott is one of our star performers at my open mic, and I'm happy to have him here every Monday. Every Monday. Good man.
I said no rivers to see no sun. I waited and I wanted and I settled for none. Wanted and I waited and I settled for none. Stood on a highway, looked for a sign, a lightning.
Some of his songs just are amazing that he writes. When he performs here at my Monday night open mics, I love it. I love it. And he's always welcome here, of course.
Stand on this mountain like the king of the hill. Wind in my soul, roll me on where you will.
I met Mott when he came up here. I saw him painting murals in town. I had to meet this guy.
You better run for your life, you can, little girl. Cry your head in the sand, little girl. Catch you with another man, that's the end of.
I worked for Fairfax Lumber here in the beautiful town of Fairfax. Mott was coming in, and I was cutting lots of birch plywood for his starting off jobs at the roasteries here, the coffee roasteries in Fairfax. So anyway, he bothered me for weeks to cut lumber, and I loved every minute of it.
Mott,
The iPhone king.
Well, I'm just letting you know that Jake, how much? See, Jake,
Mott's stepson Greg is a good friend of mine as well. Great musician. Anyway, these guys have kept my open mics alive.
They're going to do that 3 hours ahead of time.
I went, and the rain started coming down really hard.
Forgot you're going on again. Tough.
I am going on again with Todd. Last week I went on 3 times.
Hi, Petra.
Petra's here all the way from Germany tonight. Let's hear Petra.
Let's hear for Petra. I said, yo ho ho, and the bottle of rum. On the dead man's chest. Yo ho ho, and a bottle of rum. Drink and the devil has done all the rest. Yo ho ho, and a bottle of rum.
Woke up this morning, left my breakfast in bed. I walked on the beach and I saw a light in my head. I looked in the sky and she was shining down on me. Said, come on, you lazy, crazy boys, can't walk, can't talk like me. No, I've been waiting a long, long time. She never looked so good, she never looked so fine. On a sweet summer day, sweet summer night, won't feel alright on a summer night. I walk down the street, I feel so light in my shoes. Well, I love my baby, and you know she loves me too. Well, here she come like summer sun, come shining down on me, yeah. It gets so hot around 12 o'clock, can't walk, can't talk, I can barely breathe. Oh, I've been waiting a long, long time. She never looked so good, no, she never looked so fine. On a sweet summer day, sweet summer night. Just what to say, I never had much of a notion. See, once upon a time was such a long time ago. And it was just yesterday that you got on that locomotion.
We were in high school and we were in painting class in Dan Alvich's class. And Tom used to wear his little Beatle vest. And he was a Beatle. Yeah, and then we were in Scrock together, Southern California Regional Occupational Center, taking advertising design, which was one of the most valuable classes I ever took. It was using real professional art tools, and we were making really professional level art when we were like 16. And I remember my mom was like, "Oh my gosh, who is this guy?" But then you sat down at the piano and you started playing the piano, and my mom's like, "He's playing the piano. Oh my God, he knows how to play the piano." I was like, I don't know. I didn't know he could play the piano, and my mom fell in love with Mott. The central theme with Mott has always been his creative impulse. And whatever his family life, his love life, his own personal life, all those things could be all messed up, all fucked up, all crazy, but there was always that creative impulse that was there being acted upon. We went through the most neurotic generation probably, a lot of great art and this spontaneous activity of music and art, that had happened already. We were kind of in awe of it, watching these other artists and these things that happened, and now it's like, oh God, it's just data. It's just information. Throw images at me all day, and they're all beautiful. And I have to compete and swim in that? No, I have to set myself apart, and we are trying to set ourselves apart and be special, and it's hard now. It wasn't hard 50 years ago. It wasn't as hard as it is now. But you have to be better. He's better. Tom is like any great creative person. In what he does and who he is, he's at the top. He's like the top 1 or 2% of human beings in what he is and what he does. Is he appreciated for it? Yeah. Should he be appreciated more? Absolutely.
Does that Rhodes have a nice piano sound? It's cool.
I met Tom through Ricky Ginto. I mean, we had played in different bands together. There was a lot of bands on the hill, a lot of music, which made it always entertaining. Like almost every weekend I played a house party or something. Tom wanted to play with some guys, and Ricky put us all together, and we started being a band right here in my garage, and we learned a ton, and we learned about rain and thunder and ways to do dynamics and harmonies. We had 4 or 5 singers at the time. It was incredible, and it was a huge influence. And we played gigs in Hollywood that I had never done that before, and that was a lot of fun, a big eye opener to be in that realm at 18 years old. And then, so Troy, when I was in high school, was one of my biggest influences. I had the album long before I ever met Tom, and I always loved the band and its music and its harmonies, and it was just, Steve Craig is a master. Those guys really were our idols. And then to be playing this music, and it was quite an honor. It was pretty fun. There's times when you get in music and you have that connection with someone, and you're able to really experience something that you create, like on the spot, something that was those people in that environment. And that Tom's really good at that, at capturing that moment.
Yeah, once. Yeah, well, tell it to Joe Walsh.
Oh, my Tennessee rose, going where the wild wind blows. Thought that I would find you here, singing songs everybody knows. Hi-ho to carry on crow, take me north to Ohio, where my Yankee brother lies beneath the wide and open sky. Tennessee Rose, ride that pony where she goes to my old Kentucky home. Bell County's where that river flows. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. I don't know, but I heard it said, without her love I'm better off dead. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, my Tennessee Rose, tell me how this story goes. 2 steps back and 1 ahead. Lay me down, now it's time for bed.
I met Tom many years ago. I moved here from San Francisco and I found this guy in his garage living with a blind goldfish. And I asked him if he was a painter. And he said, well, yeah, no shit, I'm a painter. You're real fucking smart. That's me doing Tom Gardner. And so I asked him, well, you want to get a beer tonight? I guess I was desperate to make friends. And he was the only guy I met, so we went to the bar, and while we were there, he asked me if I wanted to go to New York. And I'm from New York originally, so I said, sure. Tom and I, we were down looking at galleries, and the way he described it was perfect. He said we were 2 guys in long black coats, dripping wet, probably smelled like animals, with our portfolios under our arms, and we were going around to openings. And we chanced upon this French artist that was having an opening, and this pretty fancy gallery. We got some pretty good booze there, huh, Tom?
Oh, yeah.
A lot of fun. No, he's a real character, that Tom Gardner. Fantastic artist. Wonderful musician, even though he plays that hippie crap. It's still very well put together, very talented guy, but also laughing and enjoying yourself and having a good time. I think we share an interest in good art. Yeah, he's got great taste in all those things. And he seems to have very good taste in women. Tom's definitely had an influence on me. He and I both started, we both love cartoons, we love humor. We love the Marx Brothers, for God's sakes. But also he was saying earlier that it's important to note that art is, hands-on art as he called it, is something that I live for and I know he lives for it. And he said before that he tried to stop painting, but he couldn't. Same with me. Yeah, I love painting, so does Tom. And I think that's why we became fast friends. Even though we disagree on a great many things, it doesn't matter. I think that's the beauty of friendship. It's Tom Gardner, a well-respected man, because he gets up in the morning. Okay, run along now. This is my time. Stop being so vain. We're realist painters. He's more surrealist painter than I am. But we both love cartoons. We both love laughing at ourselves and at others, but in a more playful way, not a malicious way. It's often very fun, and sometimes people misunderstand it, but I think that's what's so great to see him. I haven't seen him in a year or so, and it's just like we saw each other yesterday. And I think that's the mark of a good person, a nice person. Yeah. Yeah, I love the guy. He's fucking comedy hour. And he just can't stop talking either, can he? Oh, shit, you couldn't. I was getting emotional over here. Moments that are so glorious, you can't even describe them. It's almost like a threesome with, 3 beautiful Filipino girls. But it's also as low as all 3 of those girls leaving you for a 4th Filipino girl. I guess Tom's playing tonight with this hippie band.
That's right.
Are you coming?
No.
No, he doesn't come to hear hippie music.
No.
He
I
does.
will be my best friends, my best chicks.
Well, I'd have to take a shower then in case we wind up in the
What do you
sack.
smell?
Probably.
No. Nobody,
No,
this
I'm
is
okay.
Hermosa.
I'm kidding.
How do you get overpower the smell of Hermosa Beach? Why did I name my band Troy? I found out that Troy was my original name on the back of some adoption photos. I was adopted. I was already 18 when I found this out. And it seemed like a really simple 4-letter name to name a band. And I thought, I was Troy. It meant something to me. It had a basis inside me for it. Also, when my son was born, I named him Troy Christopher. I figured one of them would live after me, and he's a great boy. He's a good boy. And my band is still known. It's really a warm reception I get when I get up there and I start playing the old songs.
When I see the start of a new day, wearing robes of blue and gray. I see the sun kiss my face as I'm stepping out of the rain. I'm stepping out.
We'd like to thank you all very much for coming in tonight and celebrating with us the music and the message of MOT.
That's true, you know. This is S. Craig, formerly known as Stephen.
Hello, this is MOT.
Formerly known as Mott. Yes.
We're here today on the beautiful island of Maui, and Tom and Petra flew over here to see me and to experience a little bit of island shaka.
We didn't swim or anything.
No, you flew over here.
I'm a very good swimmer, though.
Very good.
I think that needs to be mentioned.
Oh, yes. So here we are at Dan Chidley's house, 1978. I'm in 6th grade. You're what, a sophomore in high school? If you went to school at all, did you?
I did. I attended a few classes.
Yes, you attended
especially
a few
in the
classes.
mornings.
In the morning classes were always nice.
Yes.
And so I'm over there. My friend Dan Chidley's a big Beatle fanatic, and he's got his posters all over the wall. He's got a drum set, a full drum set, and he's got big speakers and 8-track tapes to play and play along with the tapes that we would do Beatle albums and Beach Boys and stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
And then he tells me about this guy named Mott, and in walks this guy right out of Hard Day's Night, the boots, the jeans. So he walks in and he starts talking to me about, in the English accent. He's all, "Hey man, what's up?"
Got any beer?
Talking, yeah. He asked for beer. What are you, 16? I'm 12. We were having Ovaltine. Again, when you're 16, I'm 12. It's a pretty big difference at that time in life when you're in 6th grade and you're talking to a high school guy that plays guitar and writes his own songs, paints, draws cartoons, and writes stories. Pretty impressive, I must say, Tom. I was like, who is this guy? And the coolest thing is that I didn't know at the time, but the influence that you would have on my musical career, watching you write songs. It was like hanging out with a Beatle.
Help! Ouch! It really hurts.
And I got to tell you that. I mean, I'm proud to say that.
L-I-V-I-N. Gonna keep on giving without giving in. Gonna keep on living, living bad and one more. Every night and day.
I watched him write a song. I sat there and watched him write a song called Hey Girl.
Oh yeah, Hey Girl.
Walking down the street.
Oh my
Maybe not your
goodness.
best song, but it was
the earliest. I actually went to a Beatle book to see what the hell these guys were going to write about, you know. I mean, I remember singing all their songs, and well, their typical C to A minor, F to G. It was really simple. It was just an experiment in songwriting.
That was the time we sat around. It was 1982, this particular time.
Yeah, it was.
And we were talking about John Lennon and the assassination.
Yeah,
It had been 2 years since John was shot.
Yeah.
And we sat and talked about it very calmly, and we ended up playing a couple of John's songs and got really quiet and somber, and it was just such a moment. And then you started talking about songwriting again.
Yeah.
And, you know, the influence you've had, because I write songs too, and now, and I have for quite a while, but at first I thought, I can't even do that, and I just watched you do it. And you made it look pretty easy. You still make it look pretty easy, so, and it's not.
No, it's not. It takes crafting, it takes time, and I always said it's good to have a lot of writing down without necessarily a full song, just writing and then putting it in a box somewhere and going to that box later when you get the inspiration to play.
Some people say that there's no heaven. When the bullets fly, they start to pray. Some people say they've got direction, but when darkness comes, they lose their way. Some people say there's no tomorrow, but they think we live our lives and then pass away. But when I see the morning sun, don't look for me, 'cause I'll be gone enough tomorrow never comes. Enough tomorrow never comes.
You would lock yourself away. He'd lock yourself away. Where's Tom? You know, a day would go by. You know, he's in his room, and that's when it kind of hit me. Like, oh, so it's not that easy for him. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like I thought you'd show up the next day when I wasn't around you that much. I'm like, oh, he's got another one. I haven't finished mine from last week yet. You've got 3 more. I'm like, oh, and they're good. Now, so I started to get like, oh, am I jealous or am I envious or am I just kind of happy to hang out with this guy? A little bit of all of that. So I remember that you came out of the room and you had another really good song, and that's when I started to sit down and lock myself away too, because it took that time. And I go, so that's how you do it.
Blow away the golden grain, blow away the mountains ringing, blow away all the people singing. All you need is a little bit of loving. Blow away the wind and rain, blow away the golden grain, blow away the mountains ringing.
All right.
Solo tone.
The thing about Tom's songs that are so cool, it's not only is it the melody, you know, catchy, you know, but really the lyrics behind those songs are fantastic. And it was always amazing that he could just output the quantity of songs that all had the same quality level. You know, that's just very rare. And that was really cool to just, anytime we would just go on stage anywhere, to know, hey man, our set list, these songs are amazing, and that was really, really cool.
Stand in the corner, looking at the other side of life over your shoulder. It may be something deep inside. Look at everybody watching as the sun goes down. We seem to be waiting for the lights to go on.
What happened was I recorded a tape, and Dave Brow and Steve Craig played In the Dark, and Dave worked at the music lab on Hyperion as an intern and learning how to be a musical engineer, and he recorded All Through the Night and Feather in the Wind. And then we immediately made some great tapes, and Dave's very efficient and made these beautiful tapes. I made the cover.
He's Dave Brown.
Dave Brown.
Dave, this is not rehearsal.
Wait. Is that thing on?
Okay. And we put, what was it, like 100, 200 tapes in our little music store. And they called us up and said, hey, we need more tapes. I go, what? We just made you 200 tapes. They're gone. And he says, they're gone. So we put some more tapes, another 100. I made a little cardboard, cartoony Troy thing. It was all made up because we never played anything. We haven't played one gig yet. And by Steve and Dave were like, should we play somewhere? We should do a lunchtime at the school at least. So earlier that day, we had a half an hour rehearsal. So then we go off traveling down to the high school. And we go out on the stage, and there must be 3,000 people.
2,600.
2,600 people out there. Some of my teachers are out in front, you know, and there's just people on the balcony, people on the roof.
2,200.
Oh, it was a lot. Who knows? You can't even count.
That's true, I can't.
Yeah. Anyway, so there was a plethora of personage out there to watch us do this. 2 other high schools, Palos Verdes High and Miller West High, were over there for our first gig, our first 45 minutes. My influence was Ken Buick. He had a great band before I even knew how to play a G chord.
Which one are you talking about, the Doctors?
The Doctors.
Yeah.
That band was great. It was very professional, and I really dug that. He was very, very clear. He was always a good musician, had great musicianship. And I needed help with my Troy band at the time, and I didn't have another guitar player. So Ken said, I'll play guitar. Come on, let's go, Tom. Come on, Tom, let's go. So we did it. We came up on stage with the Rolling Hills Amphitheater and of course, the Norris Theater Show. The Norris Theater Show idea was, how do you play a big venue when you're nobody? And when the thing was, you want to do a benefit for someone. And my charity, who helped me with my cleft palate in my early days, was the Crippled Children's Society. They had all kinds of speech therapy equipment they bought with the money that we earned for them. We earned about $7,000 from the Norris Theater Show.
Yeah.
And I gave that all to them. And they thanked me with letters and pictures and kids writing me, and it was all very cool.
The most exciting moment definitely was opening the cardboard box that contained 25 copies of our album, Troy album, the 6-song, 12-inch vinyl EP. That was cool. And we had like 35,000 more boxes of those with 25 copies each.
See that girl, she's in the town. She's a turner, and she's a looking around. She's got a load on her shoulders, she's got a bag in her hand. Got a sensible mind, she might as well sit down. Start waiting, start waiting. I walked all over, thought I'd say hello. To give her a hand, don't tell her where to go. She said it's me and my dog and my traveling show. And I'm waiting here for love to come and go. Love to come and go. Yeah, love to come and go. Don't you worry about the big sensation. Don't you worry about the latest fashion. Don't you worry about me no more. I got plenty of time for what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for now.
I would say the saddest thing was that the band kind of fell apart before it achieved what it really could have achieved and had the real potential to achieve. And sometimes when you try to change what an act or artist is into what you think radio is looking for, you just can suck the life out of what that artist or band is. And that's what happened.
Worry about the world today. she shines.
Coming at you now live. It's MOT, passion, music, love, and art.
Any art form has its special moments. I'm a painter and a musician, songwriter mostly. It's hard to tell where lyrics come from. You need all the components to make a good song. You need the talent, and you need the energy, and hopefully you come up with a good solid foundation for a song.
Well, I sailed no rivers to see no sun. I waited and I wanted and I settled for none. I wanted and I waited and I settled for none.
The triggers are there. Sometimes you wake up in the middle of the night with a good idea for a song or a painting, and I have to start it. I have to begin then. That's how that works.
So I stood on the highway, I looked for a sign. Lightning, don't you strike me, you know I'm doing just fine. Lightning, don't you strike me, you know I'm feeling alright now.
I don't try to take myself seriously. I mean, I would like to just have fun with the talents that God gave me, and I just want to be able to give some of that back. That's about the only serious part of me there is.
Well, I climbed to the top of the mountain, I swam the raging sea. I'm another star falling from heaven, still I don't know what's the matter with me. I better shine, shine, shine. Well, the music divine through Sappho, only I can hear the melody. I begin to think I'm a little wacko as I paint another masterpiece. Tell me, where did my love go? Tell me, why did it flee? I see your face in the window, looking back at me. It better shine, yeah. Come on, shine, shine. To see what's left to see, I went east to the smoggy city streets, I went west to the oily sea, I went north to the towers of Babylon, brought down to their knees. Somebody leave a light on and let your love go free. Better shine, yeah. Come on, shine, shine.
record that one? Can't we just keep that one? Good.